Yeah, no, these are
big stuff.
And I'm only saying that because I don't know, everybody's different.
Yeah.
And again, I just want to give you plants and seeds, some things that are available out there, so that it may not be today, it may be in the future. That you go, I remember that woman who spoke about, letter of credits, and let me go and find out.
Letter of credit is if you're taking a shop front in a large shopping centre, sometimes
It's a really important and often gets overlooked, and people go, oh, it's an expense and I don't really do that. Income protection is not cheap, but it is a tax deductible expense. But it does protect you. Again, I will say, if you don't have any other support and you're a single person, if you don't have income coming in, then how do you survive? Now, I will say this, if you are self-employed and you've just started and you don't have any financials, it's very difficult to get income protection. We do have a company that will give you 1 year's income protection without any financials. So if you have nothing and you've just started in the first year and you want something, I can get you income protection. But again, very important.
Sorry, if your income protection, like I get a little bit of income protection, a few units out of my superannuation because I have another job, can I claim that?
It's already in your super.
Because it's in my super. Yeah, okay.
So,
Thanks.
life insurance, and TPD stands for total and permanent disability.
That's actually, and the description of that is kind of broad too.
Yeah, it is.
Life insurance and TPD, the first thing I would say to you is if you've got a superannuation policy, you usually have some form of life and TPD in there. And on average, the ones I see is usually around $50,000. Now, $50,000 is not going to get you or pay much off, particularly if you've got a mortgage and kids and all of that sort of stuff. But the easiest way to do, if you don't do anything, you don't want to see a plan or anything like that, ring the superannuation firm and ask if you can increase the number of units that you've got so that you can obviously get more. Now, what I usually will say to people is that you should have enough in terms of life insurance, and this is very, very basic, okay? So everybody's situation is very different and you should seek professional advice. But
Actually professional.
this is general. This is general. But you should have at least enough to cover your debt, particularly if you have no children.
Yeah.
Alright, that's a very easy, simple way of going, how much do I need?
Insurance.
Have enough to cover your own debt. If you've got kids, then you need more. And that's the same, obviously, with TPD in there. I'm really passionate about trauma cover, particularly for, I actually have, I have a lot of single ladies that I see and help. But I love trauma cover because trauma cover protects you in the case you suffer an illness and survive it. And today, with the medical advancements that we have, it's not uncommon for us to have a stroke and survive it, or have a cancer and survive it. But you may need 6 months off work, 12 months off work, rehabilitation.
Mental health.
Depends on the policy.
Okay,
What is that's a good question, because that can take you out for 6 months.
Yeah, like depression or stress,
That's right.
It depends on policies. But what that does, it's not cheap. I will say to you, it's not cheap. I tell you now, I have $500,000 worth of trauma cover. I do have debt. I've got 2 children. I'm the sole income earner in my family. So if something was to happen to me like that, I'm very passionate and I want to make sure everybody is okay. So it's peace of mind for me.
Well, that's the sort of thing that, in the circumstance where my husband got injured at work, but it wasn't and then he got fired the next day. That's the sort of thing that
It's called a legal case.
Yeah, technically it was done badly and gets
Depends what the employment
What I'm
contract
doing.
says.
Exactly, and that's
Straight to the
part
lawyers.
So anyway, so yes, trauma cover is very good, and Keyman Insurance is really, and nobody's in partnership here, but Keyman Insurance really protects you as well. If, let's say, the business is worth $2 million and something was to happen to myself and my value was $1 million, that I would basically, if something happened to me, then my partner would take we'd have Keyman Insurance, and I would get my $1 million and then she could continue in the business without having to pay me out and, disrupt the whole business, basically, that
So that's
insurance
good
policy.
for a partnership.
Yes. Oh, we've only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to be really, really quick here with your business plan in here. And I'm going to tell you, if you go onto, actually go into, I've got, what is it? Pretty sure that's it. But this here is a really great business plan that ANZ provide online. I don't know if
All
anyone's
this stuff is
Yeah,
it's good.
This is the I don't know, I just love the ANZ one.
Really?
If you
I'll
can
give you my small business lady. She's brilliant.
This is
She tells you.
just wanted to sleep fluffy
Oh,
and long.
lucky you.
Oh, this to me is fantastic. Now in here, it basically, if you want to apply for finance and you are only 1 year in business, do not bother going to a bank without this.
Download from ANZ, did you say? Sorry.
ANZ,
yeah.
I think I wrote on that
Something.
contract
Yeah, it's
list.
down the bottom.
Okay.
That's the link there, Business Hub. Go in online and then there's the templates in there.
Yeah.
And in this business plan here, there is also at the back, there is the Excel spreadsheet that you can go in to do your cash flow forecasting, and then this is your actual profit and loss. Alright, so go into those, it is brilliant and it will put you in control of your business. It talks about your strengths, your weaknesses, it talks about why are you in this, what do you want to achieve. It took me 10 years to decide what was really important and what I was doing, and now I feel like I'm on that path. Who your key people are, who your advisors are, target market, your competitors, everything you need to know about pricing, payment, distribution, your facilities, your premises, your risk, business continuation, all your financial forecasts are in here. And one of the things I love in here is your action plans. There's a thing here about action planning and what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, and it puts it down. And keep it, and then every year do a review. I do a review every year on everything on my business, so I can't encourage you more. So download that. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you very quickly, and I put in there, is that I have just recently come across Xero. I don't know if anybody else has that,
Yeah, I've got that.
but it's brilliant.
Yeah, just,
It's
it's
an
an accounting,
online
MYOB
accounting
was doing my heading.
Well, I
It's too
have
difficult.
used MYOB
Zeros.
and personally I had used Quicken, so I'd used both of those. So personally,
That was
because
my
I
question
manage
for
everything.
you. Yeah.
So I had Quicken for my personal stuff, MYOB for that, and I had a bookkeeper. And what I had with the bookkeeper is that, and she was a lovely person, don't get me wrong, but it was, you're looking at things on a quarterly basis.
Yeah.
With Xero, it basically feeds all my transactions from my business and my personal. I have a number of different companies, but separately, it feeds it in, and then I just have to go in there and go, oh yeah, that's that. I've already put in initially my, how you do the cash flow forecasting. I've already put that already in. So then I have my actual to my budget, and I can check it on a weekly basis, and I do. I've got a couple of staff in there. I pay their payroll from there. It is the best thing I've ever done, and
Is it dual platform, as in Mac and PC, or
Yeah,
is it
it's
just PC?
cloud
Yeah, it's
software.
cloud, it's cloud software. So you can access it anywhere in the world, any time. You don't have to have your computer.
But do you have to do the cloud thing?
It is,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
a cloud.
That's the pro. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so it is
and
online.
you pay a monthly
Secure.
fee.
Okay, so what happens, I've heard with these
Yeah.
cloud things, that once you don't pay your monthly fee, you lose all your information until you pay again. Is that right?
I'm sure they would disable your account until
Yes,
you
that's
pay.
the word, disable
Yes.
your account.
I'm sure they would too.
So-
I can totally tell you, I have been extraordinarily happy with it, and just for me to
How
be
much is it a month?
online, and I mean, I did a bit of research beforehand. There's so
I
many
had to pay
users of it.
I think
And
it's different.
There is
ANZ
different,
promote it.
yeah, there's
like the one.
So I figure that if ANZ think it's
You
pretty
pay
good, and they've got a
$29.
thing with it, and as I said, I don't have a bookkeeper at the moment, so I'm just going to give that straight to my accountant. Know where to start, and I said if you follow that business plan with so this was the cash flow thing here. I said if you follow the business plan, you will know what your expenses will be for your marketing and your finance requirements and all of those sort of things. So you can do this yourself, and I truly believe your accountant is not the person to do this. You are the person to do it. So when you understand, if you go through that whole business plan, it will tell you all your requirements in there that you can then key in those dollar amounts that you need to.
I think though the hardest thing, and I can say for myself, is that you come and do all these things and then you get back to work and all of a sudden there's a phone call, someone to chase up, something to do this,
Yeah.
something. So get your diary, pick a day and mark it out.
Yep.
And that's
And
my
block it
day.
off and switch your phone
And that's
off.
what I'll do the next 2
Don't-
weeks.
don't
That's
put it on
my
the internet.
day.
No
And
email.
don't
Maybe
answer
we
the
should
phone,
do that.
don't
No
do anything,
emails.
mark that day
Always
out.
create our to-do
I was
list
at
for
a
when we leave,
industry
are you
leaders
going to do
conference.
that?
I started a finance presentation, obviously just saying that for some people it's going to be really basic, and for some people they're going to get a lot of value out of it. And I guess that's always hard for me as a presenter when you're presenting to a broad range of people. I'm going to say the same thing with this. Not everybody's going to be in a position to look at creating wealth, but again I just wanted to give you some food for thought of how you can do it, and in the big picture type of thing. Okay, so apologies if you go, oh my god, I'm not ready for this yet, and that was totally irrelevant to me. I'm hoping that you can just get some motivation, because your business is going to enable you to then create wealth in various forms, and it could be your business as one vehicle to do it. Could be the property, could be the shares, it could be, investing in other forms of business.
Can I just ask a question there? Sorry, Joe. It's just because in that, if we do this as well, doesn't that become a way for us to offset some of our tax?
Depends, Renee,
As
if
well?
it's negatively geared or positively geared.
Yes, yeah.
I'm a believer that, having to pay tax is not a bad thing. It means that you're actually successful, So, there are some ways of offsetting tax and still being,
Yeah.
reducing your tax
Yes.
bill by different types of property
Yeah.
purchases that you buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be going and saying,
Being that the driving force.
no, I'd rather be paying tax and making money than not
Yeah.
having paid tax and,
Yes.
Or a better repayment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Again.
And see technical stuff sometimes.
All right, you got a pen and paper ready?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do a little exercise for me, please. I want you to have a think about how much income you would like in retirement per annum. So I'm just looking at this first one across here. Don't do any of the bottom. Just how much income. Just put a figure. What do you want to retire on
Per year.
per annum?
10 million bucks.
A year.
All right. Has everyone got that figure?
Seriously?
Mhm.
Up and in there.
Times it by 20.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh man.
Gotta get my calculator out.
Oh, hang on. That was what was required, isn't it? Let me just hang on.
How much income do you want to have per annum in retirement?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell. So you times it by
Use your
20.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your calculators.
No.
What by 20?
And then take the average property value. So you might go, well, the type of property I'd like to invest in, the average property value would be about 450,000 or whatever you think.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay, yeah. Right, this is where I need a calculator.
And that- Yeah, so you do need a calculator, sorry ladies.
I'm joking.
You thought
you were dealing with intelligent women
I know, I know.
After we double it, after we multiply it by 20, then what do we do it?
So divided by, let's just say the average property value is, let's say 400,
Okay.
alright?
Divide that by 4.
So, yep, divided by 400.
Average property value at 400.
But wait, we're talking about
That's
investments,
Melbourne's.
alright? So,
Oh, okay.
in my opinion, you don't want to be,
Bring number B and then you'll understand it.
Yeah.
500.
It's 3 million.
but it gives an indication if it was just property, that's what you would need, alright? This is the current age pension. So if you had nothing, this is what you'd be earning per week, and if anyone's got a calculator, they can say what they would earn per annum.
$18,000.
$18,000, there you go.
Wow.
For a single person.
I'm doomed. You've got
It's
it.
disgusting. I'm sorry, that is disgusting.
Income for America.
I don't even know how much I spend a week with it. What was that?
That's not dole, that's
You should
pension.
have paid your debts off, you should
Yes.
own your home, you've educated your
Yeah.
children. It's the cheapest time of your life. It's not expensive, you don't have children, you don't have all that sort of thing. So that it does, not saying that's wrong, I'm not saying that, but it does change what you,
Yeah.
100%.
Your outgoings are.
You need more money now than what you do in retirement.
And you eat less.
You should. But we have
You should
aged
sleep more.
pensioners stealing food because they can't afford it. Like, really? please. That's not right.
Alright, I want you to do a very quick little calculation on, if you've got another piece of paper there,
It's good.
not on your thing here. Just put down at the moment what your net worth is today. So if you have a look at what your assets are, so write down all your property assets, your savings, your super, your vehicles, your contents, you can, but it doesn't really matter too much.
What about if does that include if you've got the asset of the house that you owe the bank?
Yep, so this is just your assets. So this is what I talked about balance sheet before when we're talking about your business. This is the balance sheet for you. So what are your assets and then what are your liabilities? So any personal loans, credit cards, home loans, investment loans, HEX debts, all liabilities. Okay, when you've done that, just take your assets away from your liabilities and that's your net worth today. Right, so just keep that aside. That's only for something for you guys to have a think about, to look at maybe in 12 months' time and come back and say what have you achieved and what have you grown, or in 3 years' time. I actually have a lot of little exercise books where I write down my goals, and it's fantastic when you go back and you see what you have achieved. When you go back and go, oh, I did that, and I did that, and I did that, and sometimes you don't even realise. So, these journals that you've got here, it's good to go back and have a look.
We're not even getting paid.
Alright, I'm going to keep moving. I want to talk to you about the property investor's mindset and their actions. So,
Suzette, I'll send through the slides as well.
so the poor,
Working out formulas.
I'm okay.
the poor will think small while the rich will think big.